I straightened my hair the other day. I changed my nose ring. It's a little hoop now. And I put on a full face of makeup for the first time in months. I feel like a whole new bitch. Hey guys, it's Megan and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be part 2 of my CD collection. If you haven't, go watch part 1. That's basically where I show you guys all my Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande CDs. The original plan was to have all of my CDs shown in one video, and then I talk a lot, so 40 minutes went by and I was like, you know what, I think I should just keep those two a separate video and then we'll just do part 2. Thankfully you guys were excited for part 2, so yeah, I'm just gonna film it next, get it out of the way. So if you guys are interested, please keep watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll just get right into the rest of the CD collection. The CDs that I'm showing today, a lot of them are actually gifts from my friends and my family, which is really nice. I also collect CDs from my favorite artists. So a lot of these are just all of their albums. Some of them are standalone ones, so I'll show those at the end. But I'm gonna start off with the CDs that I own from each of my favorite artists. The first bunch of CDs I'm gonna show you is from Kelsey Ballerini. So I also have my signed Kelsey, will that focus? Hello. I also have my signed Kelsey booklet. I have 3 out of 4 of Kelsey's albums. Kelsey Ballerini is another one of my favorite artists. I've supported her since literally the beginning of her career. The first one I have is The First Time, which is of course her debut album, and I absolutely love this album. And there's so many good songs on here. Peter Pan is like one of my all-time favorite Kelsey songs. Probably still my favorite Kelsey song. I love it so much. It's just such a good song. I remember seeing her in concert. I've never been to an actual concert of just her, but I have seen her open up for Lady Antebellum, or Lady A, I think they are now. It was so amazing. I met her on that tour. I've been trying to see her in a standalone concert for years now, like ever since she first started. She had a headlining show in Boston and I could not make it. My favorite when I first heard this album was Square Pegs, Looking at Stars, and Underage, and also Dibs. Such a cute song. The next one of her albums is Unapologetically, which I love this album so much. If I'm being completely honest, this is actually my favorite album of hers. It's just so good. I love the story of it. She sets it up into like 3 different sections basically. Like it starts out with like the heartbreak, and then it goes into love, and then it goes into life, I think it is. No, it starts out with the heartbreak, and then it goes into the life, and then it goes into the love songs. This is just such a good record. I love this album so much. Lead single Legends is so good. I love this song so much. So Unapologetically is definitely one of my all-time favorite Kelsey albums. One of my all-time favorite country records, to be honest. Like I just think it's so good, and I love the story behind it, and it's just such a good album. It starts out with Graveyard, goes into Miss Me More, which actually, fun fact, so yes, I did meet her when she was on tour with Lady A. It was so cool. I mean, I wanted to say so much to her and I blanked out and I didn't really say anything. I have a whole vlog about my experience meeting Kelsey and just the concert in general. It was such an amazing concert. I miss concerts so much. I had VIP for Kelsey, obviously. She got to play a couple songs from this album, so that's why it's kind of special to me. She played a bit of Miss Me More first, and I remember I was sitting there and I was like, this is gonna be like top 10 single. Like I just know it's gonna be iconic, and it was. It's literally one of her most known songs. I think she played a bit of Machine Heart, and then she also played a bit of End of the World. Those were like the 3 songs I'm pretty sure that she shared with us. I love this album. To me, it's her best album. Like I love it so much. All right, and then the next album I have from Kelsey is her self-titled, I would say. This is her 3rd record called Kelsey. When this album first came out, I would say that it was my favorite of hers, but I replayed it a lot in my car, and maybe it's just me and kind of like the whole, I hate to say it, but like trauma of COVID and just like quarantine in general. But this album came out just when COVID happened, like when everything was shutting down, when quarantine first began, when we literally could not go anywhere. When I hear this album, it's a great album. It really is. It reminds me too much of quarantine, like the beginning of quarantine. The fact that next month it's already gonna be March and it's gonna be like a year since all of this happened is so insane. I can't really listen to this album without going back to that time, and it's a shame because it's such a great album and it's the perfect like summer album. I hate how it just reminds me of COVID and just like quarantine, because this was all I was listening to at the time. So now I kind of just have that memory attached to it, and it gives me like a very uneasy feeling. The first track on the album, Overshare, literally I feel like that is me to a T. I love that song so much. Homecoming Queen is amazing. Hole in the Bottle, if you listen to country music, you already know it's iconic. Half of My Hometown is my favorites, as well as The Way I Used To, but it's a shame that because of last year's events, it's traumatized me to really listen to this album. With that being said, a few months ago, I don't even remember, I think like October or maybe November, Kelsey actually released a second album, which is basically the same album, just different production on these songs, called Ballerini. So this is Kelsey, and then there's Ballerini. I'm gonna be completely honest, not a fan of Ballerini. I love Kelsey, but I'm not a fan. I think I just have to give it a second chance, really. I don't know, I was never able to like vibe with the whole second album thing, because they're much slower songs and you have to be in the mood to listen to them. Like the only Ballerini version, any song on here that I like is Club. So I don't have the Ballerini version, but I see it at Target all the time and I'm so tempted. So I'm thinking just to like have it, I think I want to sell this one on Mercari or something and then buy Ballerini. Those are all of my Kelsey albums. Next artist, my love. In middle school, he was like the love of my life, besides Robert Pattinson. But like artist wise, I was obsessed with Bruno Mars. Like I have very vivid memories of 6th and 7th grade specifically, of when I was like obsessed with him. Bruno Mars is just one of the best musicians of our time. I mean that, I stand by that. I love him to death. Like I want a new album from him so bad. I love him dearly, but one of the things that bothers me is the fact that he only has like 9 or 10 songs an album, and he only has 3 albums out, and he releases albums like every 5 or so years. Like it's insane. Like I think his newest album was 5 years ago. I think that's when 24 Karat Magic came out, or 6, I don't know. It's been a while. I love Bruno Mars. I just wish that he was more consistent with his recording and everything. I just want more music from him. I love him. I saw him in concert on the last day of school in 7th grade. I went to TD Garden with my cousin. We were up in the nosebleeds, but it was literally perfect. I think it was only my second concert that I've been to. It was just insane. Like I absolutely loved him. I was screaming gorilla at the top of my lungs. We're not gonna get into it. But like that was such a good night, and I just want to see him in concert again so bad. He puts on an amazing show. I think besides Taylor, he is the best entertainer. But anyways, yeah, so I have all 3 of his albums over here. So this is his first album. It's called Do-Ups and Hooligans. What an iconic album. I'm just in love with Bruno Mars. This album was like my life. Grenade is such a good song. Just the Way You Are. Runaway Baby. My favorite on this album is still Talking to the Moon. It's such a beautiful song. Every single song is just so good. I wish more people liked Bruno Mars. Like, I remember not too long ago on Twitter I saw someone be like, Bruno Mars has stans. Like, yeah bitch, I'm one of them. I'm obsessed with this man. I really am. Especially back then. Oh gosh. Going into the next one, we have his second studio album, Unorthodox Jukebox, which such a good album. Nothing compares. This was actually a Christmas gift from my dad. I put it on my Christmas list and he bought it for me. It's a little bit of a risque album. Gorilla. That song. It's embarrassing when I look back at how much I love that song. Again, when I saw him in concert, I literally sang the out of that song. Like I literally, that second verse, I was screaming word for word. This was me at 12 years old. This was the album that I saw him on tour for. I went to the Moonshine Jungle tour, and again, I stand by what I said. Him and Taylor are like the best entertainers. I'm literally dying to see him in concert again. I wanted to see him on the 24 Karat Magic tour, but his concert tickets are so expensive. And going on to his next album, this is 24 Karat Magic. Fun fact, I cannot listen to Bruno Mars when I drive actually, because I get like so into his songs when I'm driving to the point where I don't pay attention. It's actually kind of bad. This is such a good album. This won album of the year at the Grammys one year and everyone on Twitter was pissed. I was not. I fully think that he deserved it. I love this album. There's no song of his that I don't like. I love every single song in his discography. So yeah, Bruno Mars, Peter Jean Hernandez, and that's his real name if you didn't know. I'm waiting for a new album. Give it to me, please. I can't just, you know, like I need something new. Just give it to me. The last set of artists where I've collected pretty much every single one of their CDs is Megan and Liz. If you don't know me, then you would not know, but I absolutely love Megan and Liz. They're making a comeback to YouTube actually. Like, they're posting covers and they're actually posting YouTube videos on their other channel. I've supported them for a very long time. If any of you guys know me, then you know how much I love them. They're some of my favorite people on the entire planet. I've gotten very lucky to meet them a few times. Pretty much all of my internet friends that I talk to on a daily basis has been made from the twins. So shout out to Megan and Liz, because if it weren't for them, then I wouldn't have any friends. I have pretty much every single EP of theirs on CD except for the This Time EP, which goes way back, like Princess Charming and A Girl's Life. A lot of their old stuff. I don't have that, unfortunately. That was about a year or so before I actually discovered them. This is their Bad For Me EP. If there's any song that you guys could potentially know from them, it's definitely Bad For Me. That song is iconic, amazing. I actually got this crew neck from their boutique online. It says Nashville, Tennessee on it. They kind of like hop back and forth from like pop and country. Bad For Me is definitely a song that you guys could know from them. It was all over the radio. There was a Macy's commercial with the song. There was an Audi commercial with the song. That song, I'm not gonna go into it because if I do, then I'm gonna go on for hours. But like, the way that their career like literally could have taken off, and then if it wasn't for that record label. Anyways, I love this EP. It's been a long time since I've heard it. Sunset Somewhere, that's actually a song that they still open up their shows with, which is so funny. Actually, I think every single time that I've seen them. I've seen them 2013 in Boston when they were on tour with American Rag. I saw them a couple years later in Pennsylvania. My mom and I, we drove all the way to Pennsylvania to go see them, and then I saw them in New York City, and then I saw them in Boston again last year. All 4 of those times that I've seen them, they've all opened the show with Sunset Somewhere. But I love that song. That was actually my original favorite off this EP when they first released it. Like I Would is actually one of my all-time favorite songs of theirs. That's their first country song that they ever did, and that's kind of like when they started to delve into country music. It's been a while, but I got this at their show in Boston back in 2013. Thank God for my dad's wallet, because I literally raided the entire merch table. And then the next EP of theirs I have, or the next CD I have of theirs, is actually their Simple Life EP, and I do have 2 copies of them, as you can see. One of them is signed. The signed one is actually the one that I got first when I saw them in Pennsylvania back in 2015. They signed it for me and it was really cool. This one, I have to go through this drawer right now and see if I can actually find it. But this one, I bought a second EP because they did this little thing on their website, kind of like promote the EP more. They were writing handwritten notes to people. I still have mine. I need to go find it. I think it's in this one over here. I'm not too sure, but I know it's somewhere. I'm gonna make a whole mess of my room for this. There it is. Oh, okay, I got a couple things to show. I knew it was in here. So this is actually a phone case for the iPhone 5S, or the iPhone 5 that I had. I met them in Pennsylvania and I had just gotten an iPhone 5. I showed up all out. Like, I'm not even kidding. I had a Macer necklace, which is what they called their fans, or what they do call their fans. I had this case on my phone and they thought I was the most adorable person on the entire planet. I really went all out for that concert. This is actually the notes. They had it in this little card over here. And then Megan, she took a little Polaroid picture. That's just a picture of her with bubbles that I learned later on. And it says, "To Megan, from Megan." They wrote me a little note. See, now I'm getting all like sentimental. They said, "Megan, hey, hi, what's up? Well, hi, love. You already know we love you so much. I mean, your tweets are so sassy and hilarious and mean so much to us. And this is your second EP. Like, thank you. But for real, thank you times a million. Hope you are happy, healthy, and feeling like the stunning young woman you are. If you ever need a reminder that you are special, that you are loved, this is it." The next EP I own from them is also signed, and this is their 3rd EP. No, not their 3rd EP. It's like their 4th EP or 5th one maybe. I don't know. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not really my favorite of theirs just because the production is a little bit much for me. Their Simple Life EP is actually my favorite. Even though they're back into pop music now, their Simple Life EP was it. I think it's pronounced Doe. or duh. It's supposed to mean two in French. The last EP of theirs and their most recent EP is actually their Muses EP. This was released back in May of 2019, I want to say, and this EP is so good. This is when they actually transitioned back to pop. So they started off in pop, they went to country, and then they went back to pop, and this was their comeback to pop. Yeah, those are my twins. And now we're gonna go into the albums that are basically just random albums that I have. A lot of these are signed, so shout out to my friend Sarah because she's the one that got me a lot of these signed CDs. The first three albums I'm about to show you, I was either with her or she actually gave me. The first one I have is Marin Morris's Hero album. There it is, focused a little bit, and she did sign it for me. It says, Megan, thank you, love Marin. I love this album. I think Marin Morris is genius. Like, Marin already has so many Grammys and stuff and she only has 2 albums out. I will admit her second album isn't my favorite. I do own it, but I love her first album. Her first album is so good. I actually discovered her like just before she became super famous. I heard My Church on the radio and I was like really obsessed with it. I became obsessed with 80s Mercedes. Suddenly out of nowhere she like blew up in country and now she's like huge. But literally every single song is so good. This is such a solid first album for someone. And then the next one I actually have is Miss Jojo, which who doesn't love Jojo? She was a big part of my childhood actually. And again, it's actually signed thanks to my friend Sarah. But there she is, and then there's her signature in the corner. I still listen to her all the time. I love her new stuff. Too Little Too Late was like a big song in my childhood. The High Road is so good. And she was only 16 in this album. Like, it blows my mind every single time. This next one is actually Glory Days by Little Mix. I do love this album. It's been a while since I've actually kept up with their stuff. I got this at a CD signing literally before I went to the Dangerous Woman tour. So my first video on this channel, kind of cringe, but it is my Dangerous Woman tour vlog. It was a CD signing for them. I didn't really meet them per se. My favorites on here are Touch. I love Power. No More Sad Songs. Nothing Else Matters. I need to really catch up on their new stuff because I heard that it's like amazing. They were very late for the CD signing to the point where people were actually going to the concert right after. They were just like, we have a concert to catch. Like, I'm sorry, but we're not gonna stay. So it kind of sucked because we were waiting for a very long time. My friend Sarah really wanted to do it, so we went anyway, and they were also excellent when they opened up for Ariana. And then the next album I have is actually Hello My Name Is from Bridget Mendler. Such a throwback for me because I loved this album. I was listening to it last week and I was just like, oh my god, these songs are still so good. Honestly, I think she's like graduated from MIT or something last year. I don't know. She has like a whole new career. She's killing it, honestly. Good Luck Charlie was one of my favorite shows on Disney. Ready or Not is one of my all-time favorite songs, especially from my childhood. This album is so good. The last CD from an artist that I'm gonna show you is Selena Gomez and The Scene. So back when Selena was in a band, technically, it was Selena Gomez in The Scene back then. This is her Year Without Rain album and I loved this back then. Selena was actually my first concert back in 2011. Oh my god, 10 years ago. I tweeted the other day about how I keep thinking that 2011 was like 4 years ago and it's literally 10. I was in the 3rd row and it was amazing. I didn't really know how to act at a concert though, so like I saw her and like there was moments where we like made eye contact, but I was also on crutches because injury stuff with my knee, and the woman at the booth was really nice and upgraded my seat to the 3rd row. It's been a while since I've listened to it, but I did go on a binge of listening to Selena Gomez and The Scene the other night. They have a lot of bops. I loved Round and Round. I loved A Year Without Rain. Off the Chain is still my favorite song from this album. It's so good. Live Like There's No Tomorrow, Ramona and Beezus is still a movie that makes me sob every time I watch it. I still love that movie so much, and that was a song that played in the end credits. Ramona and Beezus was actually like the first movie I watched in theaters where I literally could not control my tears. Like, I was just sobbing the entire time, and I still do every single time I watch it. I still love Selena. I just started watching her HBO show where she's like learning to cook and everything, and it's so funny. I've always loved her and I've always looked up to her when I was growing up. So, and I'm also really excited for her Spanish EP. I don't know any Spanish, but I'm really excited to listen to it. And then the last 2 CDs that I own, you know how you used to like make your own CDs and stuff? This is mine that my mom made for me way back in the day. birthday, February 26, 2006. I was 6 years old. I was gonna turn 7 that year. Oh my god. I still have this. I can't believe I still have it. But I wanted a CD so bad. My mom was like, okay, I'll make one for you. I don't really remember what's on here, but I'm gonna assume that the Brat songs were on here. I used to be obsessed with those songs when I was little. Hilary Duff probably. Not sure who else, but my mom decorated it too, and how cute. I'm definitely gonna have to like take a listen to this one day and just be like, oh my god. Maybe I'll do that for a vlog, like next time I vlog, whenever that might be. Then the last one is actually from my choir class in senior year. We did a project. What song reminds you of this person? I was pretty active in my high school choir. From sophomore year to my senior year, I was in the choir. I loved singing ever since I was little. I was actually in choir like all throughout elementary school too. And middle school I stopped because I didn't really like the way that the choir was going. So I kind of like quit on the first day and never did it until high school. I absolutely loved my choir teacher. He was my favorite. At my high school, there was like a really cool thing where we could choose teachers to give us our high school diplomas, and I chose him. So yeah, this was like a last minute project that we did. It was one of my last projects I did as a senior in high school, about to graduate. So it was like a really sentimental ending. I haven't actually listened to it, but I did keep it. Let's see the songs on here. The first song, conveniently enough, was Bad For Me by Megan and Liz, because the person who assigned this song to me, her and I used to be like best friends back in the day, and she was like, I remember Megan loving the artist of this song. Every time I think of Megan, I just think about how passionate she gets about the music she listens to, which is really, really sweet. And then number 2 is Count On Me by Bruno Mars. See, this is like literally me. And this is actually from my best friend Caitlin. Her and I, we were in choir together. We've gone through a lot in our friendship, and I love her. I don't know if she watches my videos. I know sometimes she watches them, but like I forced her to go back into choir with me in my senior year because I wanted to like go through it with someone. So she goes, this reminds me of Megan by how we have gone through a lot within the last 3 years. I've known her. We've done a lot of stuff together, and I wouldn't change that. And then the third song on here is actually a song I've never heard of. I know the artist because she used to be engaged to Robert Pattinson, but I don't know the song. It's the song Hide by Fka Twigs. I selected the song for Megan because it's a very quiet and calm song. To me, that is exactly how Megan is. She's quiet and reserved and hushed, as this song is. Which is very true. Back in high school, I barely talked to anyone unless it was my best friends. All my teachers said so. My mom would go to like open house and stuff, and they'd be like, she's really great and everything. She's just way too quiet. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I just don't want to talk. The fourth and fifth one is actually really, really funny. It's We're All in This Together from High School Musical. And then the next one after that is the High School Musical graduation song. I don't remember who assigned me this song. Someone said, outside of the obvious connection to high school music and the quiet nature she portrays, the song is definitely representative of Megan's love of community and friends, and I have only the best wishes for her in college. Well, I dropped out, but thank you. She's gonna do great. And then for High School Musical, the graduation song, I said, I personally have never seen any of the HSM movies. Oh my. And yet my little sister already has. I don't know how. But I do know that the finale song to the series, and whenever I hear it, I will think of Megan. Probably because she wanted to do that for graduation. So yes, back to my friend Caitlin and I. We came up with this idea because back at graduation, we would sing like a different song. We sang our high school song, and then we also sang like a different song usually, or something like that. I'm not too sure. I don't really remember. Friend Caitlin and I, we kept telling my choir teacher we really want to sing High School Musical because that was such like a big part of our childhood. Like everyone my age loved High School Musical, like who didn't? We really wanted to sing the graduation song. We just thought it would be fun. Oh, it was at our concert. We really wanted to like sing it and we didn't. But it's okay. But it would have been really cool for like senior years and stuff. The last song on here is Some Nights by Fun. I picked Some Nights by Fun for Megan's song because I had no idea she would be one of the people to volunteer for a solo part during that concert. I always picked oh my god, I can't read. I always pictured her as shy, but now when I hear the song, I'll remember her solo. So yes, I actually did a solo both my junior year and my senior year. Junior year, I had a solo in Hallelujah. The Hallelujah and Shrek. I had a little solo in that song. And then my senior year, I sung half of the first verse of Some Nights by Fun. Again, I really loved singing growing up. There was a time where I wanted to really get into singing. I used to want to be like a famous singer, and I had a solo in that song. I'll never forget. So my mom was in Portugal when I did my first solo, but like my senior year, my mom and my dad literally just sitting there, they were like this. I remember like seeing them as I was singing and I was like, oh gosh, and they were just like this, and they were like, It was so funny. Those are all my CDs, as if I haven't talked enough. I know that I have many elsewhere. I don't know what happened to them, but I used to have many more CDs. It is what it is. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys, again, enjoyed some of the stories with these albums that I share. Again, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video.